This week's portion, Terumah, shifts the focus once again in the Torah, this time from law to the commandment and description of how to build the Mishkan, the portable sanctuary. We have abruptly shifted from the Torah being more of a narrative from Genesis chapter 1 through the portion Yitro, in which the Ten Commandments were presented, to now hearing from God through Moses, first, what are the laws in order to ensure a just, fair society, and what are the details in which we can worship God? How do we build the place in which to conduct the worship service, which we will learn about all through the book of Leviticus? This shift from narrative to law presents an interesting question about what is the Torah itself, and how does the Torah describe our relationship to God? Do we have a better sense of who God is and what we're supposed to do through the narrative, through the stories of God's involvement in the lives of the founders of the people of Israel and the community of Israel then as they end up in Egypt? Or do we relate better to a God that commands having a just society and commands worship and ritual? How do we as individuals relate to God better? Do we prefer the more story-oriented version, or do we prefer the more detail-oriented? Perhaps it depends on our mindset at a particular time in our life. Perhaps we are comforted more by the story and by the emphasis and the re-emphasis of how God is involved in our lives, because God was involved in the lives of the people of Israel. Or perhaps we are comforted in knowing that no matter what we do, no matter what time of day we are doing it, we are supposed to be thinking about God and how our action at that moment reflects our ability and our desire to connect to God. And so that is what the Torah is. It's a combination of both narrative and detail, so that it can respond to all aspects of our life, and no matter what mood we are in. And so, as we read this week's portion, Terumah, which leads to 3 other portions about the description of the Mishkan, let's keep in mind that God isn't just shouldn't be lost in the detail, that there is narrative also, and through it all we come closer to God. Shabbat Shalom.